close there, then there's no where it has six patients.
All right, so man, I gotta go. I go on my show now.
Okay. So if you're ready, just let me know. I'll call my husband and ask him if he give me a direction there.
Yeah, once you get a direction, call me back. I gotta go. I go on my show now.
Okay. All right.
All right. Yeah, once you get a direction, call me back.
Okay. All right.
All right. Bye. Mr. Chris Beware. Mr. Chris Beware. How you doing today, Mr. Ware? Chris, can you hear me?
Oh, yes, I'm getting you. Let me say good evening and good evening to the people of Granger County and welcome. This is Alberto D4, your regular and usual program that comes your way 6 days in a week from Monday to Saturday, 9 o'clock to 12 o'clock the next day. So I'd like to say welcome. Let me salute all of our followers, those who all will follow or to share the show, those who make comment, those who call, and even those of you that always listen, even though you can call but you listen and you get something to pass on to the next generation. We'd like to say welcome, and I think that we need to talk and talk and talk, but never fight. And if we don't talk, the bad thing will still continue. So I'd like to say good evening and welcome. Let me go over to the co-host. Let him speak to his people. After that, he will tell me what to do. Come here. So, Mr. Wright, over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Chris. Thank you. Good evening to you. And good evening to everybody that is following us right now. Good to be here. Good to be back on the platform today. Chris, do you know that we are the hardest working people right now in Liberia? There, I mean, we work 6 days a week, man. That's not a small thing. That's 6 days a week we work. We are the hardest working people in Liberia. There. Nobody can argue with that. We are here on the platform straight 6 days, Monday to Saturday. That's a lot of work. But we do it because we love the people, because we want to be involved with you, because we love our country. And so we're here again. And on that note, I want to say today we have a very interesting guest coming on. The show is going to be fantastic. We ask you to show up, tune in as we go on. Our guest today will be Mr. Francis Chuchu Horton, one of Liberia, brilliant sons. He goes way back. I mean, all the way back, all the way back. A lot of knowledge, plenty of experience. I built a lot of good things in Liberia there. I mean, you will hear it all tonight. You'll talk to you. You will learn. Tuning. So I want to stop right there, Mr. Ware. So go ahead and do your thing until the guest comes in, and then we'll start the show, okay? But good to be here, and we'll look forward to a great show this evening. Back to you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Wright. And I know the people of Granger, people of Liberia, and the world at large will be glad to have our brother and friend Tunis to come on tonight, has to say. Way back and whatever. So I'd like to say thank you. So folks, if you are there, yes, indeed, we are working hard. You know what I mean to work in a week, 6 days, no resting, and not just hour, and not 1 or 2 hours, but from 9, 10, 11, 12, 4 good hours, sitting down there. So it's something like our people, our pananics here are ready. Our brothers that are out there, even those who come in on the show, they are ready to provide education. The reason very simple. Yes, to transform and change the mentality of we the Liberians, even our brothers and sisters in other African countries when it comes to development and togetherness. So I'd like to say good evening and welcome. This is Abed D4, our regular and usual program. As you know, we work more, and I don't know how many of us thinking about that, but we appreciate you. If you listen, if you always listen, we say thank you. If you can always call, and we told you, if you call 2 or 3 times, especially 3 to 4 times in a week, at the end of 1 or 2 weeks, you're going to get something. So that's to build you up when it comes to calling and also providing education. Not because we have money, the Abed D4 panelists have money, or Mr. Wright have money, but the fact that to build every one of us when it comes to sharing information. I don't know why it's happening in your community. No, you don't know why it's happening in my community. So if you will call, we have 56 community within Zwadru. Simply mean 56 towns. You think even if you pay somebody to go around, you think they will cover all of the communities? No. So if all of our brothers and sisters who are always listening and calling, giving report in those communities, the whole world, the Liberian government, our local government will know what is happening. So Solomon Power would like to say thank you. Power Sent Child would like to say thank you. Let's have a great time. You know, this hour, we open the phone lines and give our people the time to call in. But let's take our theme song. Let's take our theme song. When we come back, we open the phone lines and we hear every one of you out there.
We go talk. If they hide the truck, we go bring them. If you make small, pull yourself asleep. I go big guy. We go talk, guy. We go talk. If they hide the truth, we go bring guy. Pull yourself asleep. Problem time, no sleeping business. Doing things in planet right, hypocrite. I beg to differ, my people. If it's not correct, we gotta come so. From 9 o'clock till 12 midnight, we sitting here, we ready to fight. No palava, no fear inside. Truth must talk, we not go hide. One Mr. Johnson, bring that sense. Ready, transmit the nonsense. I must write it up and clear. Anthony WK, we make the thing fair. Claudia sleep, strong woman, yeah. If you wrong, she go say,
Oh yes, indeed. I'd like to say welcome, welcome. This is Top 105.3. You know, this is Liberia. No LEC for now. The whole weather is cool, rains, you know, touching the soil. Somebody say we brought about 8 people want to get an issue. Liberia may further away. Simple mathematics. Go all kind of. So I'd like to say welcome. Don't you go away. Let's have a great time. If you are there tonight, our brothers and sisters, our regular callers, and those of you joining us tonight to listen to our Better D4, we'd like to say congratulations. Thank you so much. And make this sure to be your best friend where you will learn, because we got educator. And tonight, we're going to be having somebody very important tonight on the platform. So, Alexander G. Wea, I'd like to say thank you. Say I'm following. Good evening, brother. And thank you. Keep following. We're going to be, you know. So if you're there tonight, if you following on the social media platform, send in your, you know, comment and share the broadcast. We're going to read your comment later. And if you are there, you're following, you can call on 0. The first segment of the program is, what is in your mind? What is happening in your community? What is your area of specialization? Don't see the problem alone, but be able to find a solution to the problem. Yes, indeed. So the fact that where is your area and how can we work to change the mind of Liberian, to change the mind of our African country? How can we come together? We are not poor, We are not suffering, but now we the African, we are suffering. If you look at the county, the land is a harvest, fertile soil. We have green forests. We have forests. We have timber, trees, the baby tree that people can sell and make money. We have river, we have creeks. What happening to us? So sometimes you sit down and some of you can be sleeping, you have a dream, you have a vision, you share it with us. Don't sit. Somebody else listen to you say, yeah, this is what I have to do. So if you want to be part of the show tonight, you can call on 0881 14 35 04 0776 105 105. William Junior Bobo, say good evening. Thank you so much. We're going to read that later, but let me try to call you guys. Then Solomon Pajibo, Alexander G. Weir, and Power Sencha would like to say thank you. You share the broadcast, in order the chat room and let our people learn. So call it 0881 14 35 04 0776 105 105 0881 14 35 04 0776 105 105. This is the weekend edition of the program Abed to D4. Today is a very good day, the sixth day of the 6th month, 6 yes, and 2026. You see, 6. What we got me to so let's hear you tonight. What is on your mind? What you want to discuss? If you're in Grand what you want to talk about? If you are following or online, what you want to talk about? We're going to read out your comment. We're going to read it out and by colors. Let's go to the phone line and talk to our first and blessed caller. You are blessed. Thank you for being part of Abed to D4 tonight. I'm doing good. Thanks for asking. How you doing also?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. Anyway, this is Isaac Silbe. I call you from Francis.
Yeah, Mr. Silver, let's hear you tonight. What is in your mind? What is happening in your community you want to talk about?
Thank you very much, Chris. Actually, my session has been done on the issue of our various town chiefs,
Okay.
various town villages.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, our cry here in the various towns and villages in a rural area, things that are going on are not really going strictly.
Okay.
It's because of our town chiefs. Those town chiefs that were appointed, or I don't know, whether I say appointed, most of them don't know their rights and responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
And as a result, things go out of scatter.
Okay.
I'm saying this to tell you about this incident about the lady that was naked, the last time. I think it is in the press views of the town chief to post up to all of those things. Because as a town chief in a town, you are there as a government eye.
Mm-hmm.
You are the first-hand information that people, when something happens, government will go. You are the first person that will answer questions.
Mm-hmm.
So you cannot sit there and are going against him, and you sitting there as a town chief, you just remain quiet. I think the local government act should, come to pass, wherein we will be able to, elect a town chief, because town chief, before you come to that position, I think we should know the debate that you will partake in and see how you are capable to do the work. But some of those town chiefs, are just there. They are the ones that sometimes even engineer those acts that are going against human rights.
Thank you.
You see, most of the time I've noticed that confusion from the rural area, the townships are involved into most of those confusions that coming out of our rural area. And I think government need to take notes on this. Other than that, thing will go out of hand.
Thank you.
Our country, actually, they are not doing all well. These people need to be supervised. They need to be monitored on a daily basis, because most of them, as I said, they don't know their responsibility. Because you serving as a middleman between the government and the people.
Thank you, Ashe.
So,
Mr. Co-host, where's the guest? You gotta unmute yourself.
Damn it. The guests will be in any time from now. I got to respond to Mr. Petet here, but I don't know what I just did here. Something happened.
That's so great from Kunabo Bantry. Shut up. Hi, Kunabo Bantry, this evening before you counter your issue.
Yeah, Kunabo Bantry is very, very good, very fun. We're all in a good atmosphere today.
Great. Tell us what is on your mind.
Yeah, my concern has to do with the logs that the people sell, that is cut down, and then they put them in area
Okay.
where most of them are decaying now. Besides the BB laws that are being posted over there, everything are decaying.
Alex, Chris.
Where FDA is doing about it. Because the last time they came here, they said they're going to look for buyers to come and buy.
Chris, can you hear me?
And then before they can get benefit. And
Chris.
So I really appealing to the local government. Then they see.
Chris, the guest is here now.
FDA.
Chris, can you hear me?
And make assessment on our law. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much. Your point is well taken this evening. Thank you for being part of the platform. This is why we're telling people that we will have oil, but the librarian is second spot the oil. Yes,
Okay.
For you to have law. Mr. Wright, can we go over to you, or we should continue
Chris,
to
the
take
guest
calls?
is
Well, let's
here.
take the last cutter, then we go.
Oh, no, Chris.
Good evening,
No,
and welcome
Chris.
on Abeta D4.
Chris, no.
Yeah, good evening.
There's a delay. He's not hearing us.
Uh-huh.
Brother Javo, thank you so much. Let's hear you. What is in
That's
your
a
mind
delay.
tonight?
Yeah,
That's a
what
delay.
is on my mind is
Oh, man.
it's now raining. All the roads
Chris, can you hear me?
for
Okay.
yes, and also again.
Chris, we have the guest here.
Let me type in the chat room.
Uh-huh.
We had a meeting to the city hall.
I don't think he will read that in a chat room.
I know.
The transformer
A message was deleted,
Mhm.
and it made you curious
almost
to know what it was.
2 months now.
Just one
Nothing has
thing.
not yet been done.
Discover
Mhm.
what will
Yeah,
download
and again,
it's
out of the county to the rural areas, some complaints are there,
Mhm.
and people are talking, but this complaint cannot do whatever they are found that what they will do to the citizens.
Mhm.
And now, those are going
Chris,
there,
can you hear me?
I don't know what they are talking, and somehow when President get there, say,
Can you mute him?
can be a
Yeah, I
security
think
for
I
their
can
job,
do that.
and
Let
then
me
we
see.
blame him. But I think that everybody
Okay.
in government,
You need to
if
mute
we
him
want to
and
let carry complaint,
let's try he will come back.
Okay. Welcome to Our special honorable guest this afternoon in Liberia, the time is 9:26 here in the U.S. The time is 5:23 Eastern. It's 5:20. It's 9:23 there too in Liberia as well. And today we have with us Mr. Francis Chuchu Horton, the wonderful boy Chuchu Horton. Mr. Chuchu Horton, we are very, very honored to have you on the platform today as our special guest. We can't be thankful more than what we are today for having you. We look forward to a very engaging conversation, and we hope that by the time we are done with the conversation here today, a lot will be said and a lot will be learned. And we look forward for that. As usual here, as part of our tradition, before we go into the show, I go to the panelists and have them introduce themselves. And then we're going to come back to you, and then you will introduce yourself, and then we'll begin the questioning. Today, we're not going to go to the lines. There's no call coming in. We're just going to have a conversation with you. For those of you following, Mr. Chuchu is going to be with us. Mr. Horton is going to be with us for at least an hour of conversation. And then we will then...
I've been talking there for days.
Chris, can you mute?
And,
Chris, is he hearing me? Mr. Horton, I'm sorry.
No problem. No problem. Technology.
Yes. So that's what. So let me go to Mr. George H. Nubo. Mr. Nubo, please introduce yourself to the guests, and then we'll come back to Mr. Horton for him to do his introduction, and then we're going to go into the programming. Thank you, Mr. Nubo.
Good evening to the listeners. Good evening to our guest. Good evening to the panelists. I'm George Numbo from the Perspective Online magazine. I'm one
Mr.
of the...
Wright, are you getting me?
Thank you.
What is going on?
Okay, thank you. So at this time, we're going to go to Mr. Horton. Mr. Horton, I want to say this because we have, I sent you, as we discussed in the back, these other panelists are going to be coming in. They're going to be trickling in as we go along. And as they do, we're going to ask them to introduce themselves to you so that the conversation can continue. But at this time, I want to come to you so that you can introduce yourself to our listening public. And we'll go back to Mr. Nubo so that he can begin, the conversation with you. Mr. Horton?
Well, thank you. Thank you very much. And let me say, when you reach a certain age, there's a tendency for you to be ostracized. The people would usually say, oh, let it over and go sit down. Move from here, you come with your only time idea. So I appreciate the fact that you all have thought enough of me to ask me to come on and share my thoughts with you.
Yes.
I'm here as Francis, as you call me, Chuchu Horton, not as an American Liberian to speak, neither like a Jamaican Liberian to speak, but as a purebred Liberian. And so whatever ideas I share, they will come from our hearts, not as a technocrat, but maybe philosophically in terms of my own ideas and how I see things and my perspectives. So I'm happy to be here, and I hope the interchanges will be to the benefit of those who are listening and to ourselves.
Absolutely. So before I go to Mr. Nubo, I want to ask a question. I do to all the guests I will bring here. Mr. Horton, can you adjust the camera because it's only showing from your neck? Oh, there you go. Thank you. Yeah.
Is that right now?
It's good.
The open hand would be up.
Oh my God! Okay. You let it go, sir. Let it go. Let it go. Let it go. Let it
No,
go.
no, that's all right. That's all right. We'll do
Let
as
it
much
go.
as we can do. No problem.
Okay.
Thank you.
But you can see
So
me now. You can see me.
yes, we can see. We can see you, sir. We're good.
All right.
For the benefit of our guests and the listening public, talk to us. Who is Mr. Francis Chuchu Horton?
Well, as I told you already, I'm a Liberian bred and born and bred. I went to Nassau Community Morning School. Then our parents sent us to England, to Sierra Leone, where we studied for a couple of years, and then England. And then my parents felt that it would be better for me to continue in Liberia. And so I went to the University of Liberia. And I have had certain experiences in government, but generally speaking, private sector, working in the Bank of Liberia, which was an entity established by our family, and one or two posts in government, but generally speaking, private sector is my main orientation and interest.
Thank you, Mr. Horton. I will now go to Mr. George H. Nubo so that he can begin the conversation with you. Mr. Nubo?
Yes, it's a privilege talking with you again, Mr. Horton. Looking at your bio, you studied biology at the University of Liberia. How did you end up in a banking sector? Did you want to play with money or what?
A very good question. And I want you all to know that I'm doing a my biography, and in it I try to explain that.
Mm-hmm.
We had a sizable farm in Sinta, but mainly rubber, and my father used to produce nearly every product you can think of except things like fish and products that couldn't be produced on the land. And so the idea was that I would do agriculture. So going to biology was the issue of getting a degree and entering, doing agriculture, and then going to take over the farm. But when at the class day, usually there's a class day. I was vice president of the class, but the president did not graduate, so I ended up as president of the class. And I gave an oration yesterday, tomorrow, for Into Today Walks Tomorrow. That was the title of my speech. And it must have impressed a number of persons. But my brother, who was president of the Bank of Liberia, who had initiated the founding of the Bank of Liberia, after we came out of the program, he called me one side and he said, look, our family has major investment in the Bank of Liberia. And I'm the only family member there. I think it would be nice if you came over to the bank and would prepare you by getting you to a program that would prepare you as a banker, executive banker. And so I first queried him and questioned him about the fact that agriculture was my main interest, and I thought I would continue to get a degree in agriculture. He said, no, come to the bank. And in banking, you will learn management. That was his argument. I wonder sometimes whether it was not a psychological argument he was making on me, but the truth of the matter is that he said that if you come into banking and then later on you can also manage the farm. So that's how he said on Monday, I think it was a Friday, he said on Monday, walk to the bank, we will train you, we'll send you abroad, you will get a certificate in banking, executive banking, mainly in foreign banking and credit. And that's how I got into banking.
Okay. In Liberia, who do we give credit for the Agricultural Development Bank?
It's Talbot. It's Talbot
I'm talking about the banker. a banker who was at the forefront of it during Towa administration. Do you know any Liberian?
I think the first president was Adolf Yancey. Adolf Yancey was the first president.
Okay.
If my memory says, you're dealing with Asia. But I think it was Adolf, he was my club mate, so I knew him very well. But he was the first president of the Agriculture Bank.
Yeah. Well, I was asking a question. I felt that the Hortons had their hands in it too.
No, we didn't. Okay. We didn't have our hands. It was the commercial bank, Bank of Liberia. That's where our focus was.
Okay. Now you.
But maybe your point you're making is that after the coup and the new government came in, what's the boy name? Wilson Tappe was president of the Agriculture Bank,
right?
And he asked the central bank. Because the Bank of Liberia had been liquidated. So he asked the central bank to take over that building. Maybe that's the connection, the Bank of Liberia building, which was on, that's the connection probably.
Okay. Now we are approaching 2029 and we have all these statements coming out. I think you may have read a statement from one Kuyante assigned to Italy. If you were Kuyante, what would you have said?
With respect to what he said?
Yes.
But what did he say? You hesitate to say.
well, I will speak to it, but I believe you heard that. I believe he was not appointed by Gaddafi. I believe he was not appointed by Mozambique leader. I believe he was not appointed by Kwame Nkrumah. I believe he was not appointed there as ambassador for Africa Union. He was appointed by the Bouaka government. And maybe, if Mr. Wright, if you have not heard the statement, maybe Mr. Wright can look for it and post it, and we listen to it.
Well, if you can just mention the statement, I will speak to it.
Okay. Mr. Wright, are you there? Yeah, you are muted, Mr. Wright.
What was the question?
Okay, the summary of what Mr. Kuyante said.
Okay.
If you have the video, you can play it. Otherwise, you can.
You want me to play the video?
No, you don't have to play the video. Just mention what he said. That would be enough.
So Mr. Kuyate, the problem Mr. Kuyate ran with the Liberian people is that he indicted the legislature. He said investors come in and deal with our corrupt legislature. And that's why they're asking him to apologize for. And he's refusing to apologize for that.
No, Mr.
No. I think it's beyond that. Since you didn't want to introduce me.
This statement
hold on.
No, you have to put the statement in context.
The statement he made in Italy. You are leaving that statement out.
Okay, hold on.
You have to you don't confuse the radio and television audience.
Mr.
Let me say good evening, Mr. Horton. It is a pleasure always to have you in the studio.
Okay, gentlemen, let's calm down. You said give a summary of what he said. I'm giving a summary.
We're talking about Italy.
Italy, I'm coming there now. You have already.
Hold on, sir.
Yeah, it's my turn. It's my turn, sir.
No, Mr. Nippy, hold on, please. Hold on. We're going to come to you so you introduce yourself to the floor.
Mm-hmm.
I was asked by the guests to provide a summary. If I provide a summary and you say, okay, you left the other part of the summary out, you let me know and we'll go back there. But if you come here and say, oh, no, then it's almost like, let's do this in a very, controlled way. Thank you. So at this point, Mr. Horton, you want me to provide a summary of what the guest said. The guest said, including what was said in Italy, everything. Now, he said that when investors come to Africa, the concessions that are signed, they are not in the benefit of the host country. They are always in the benefit of the investors. Africa is now poor. Africa has everything. But the reason why we're struggling is because of these concessions. They don't benefit us. Now, have I captured your Italy part of the summary, Mr. Nubo? Let me open Mr. Nippy, if you want. Hold on. So let me bring Mr. Nippy in.
Yeah.
And then Mr. Nippy, please introduce yourself, and then we'll go back. We'll come back to you. Just introduce yourself.
Let me say thank you so much. It's good to be back on set and to welcome our distinguished guest, Mr. Horton, who we have been beating you to bring back on the show. It's a pleasure, Mr. Horton, to be
Don't talk that one. That was secret.
I know, right?
The public listening.
Yeah, we know. To the public, welcome to the show. It is because of you and the Republic of Liberia that we continue to be on these shows. Otherwise, we'll be engaged in other activities. But thank God for Top Radio FM that we are here. Mr. Horton, let me just give you an overview of what my colleague was trying to get across. The Honorable...
let me come back to you, please. I will come back to you, sir. Please.
No, because you have to provide him the substantive elements of the man's statement, starting with his position.
Understood.
So that no, then you can go gradually and then give the full summary. For instance, Mr. Kuyate is serving as an ambassador at large and not an ambassador to Italy. Now, you will have confused him with all this clarification. You may go ahead, sir.
Thank you. So let's go back, Mr. Mr. Horton, you asked for a summary of what was said from Mr.
Yeah. Let me just say this. The question was posed to me, and it was not specific in terms of what the ambassador has said. So I said, if I can hear what the ambassador has said and the issues at bar, then I might be able to give you my views with respect to whether it was kosher for him to say or not.
Okay.
So you did it. You have done that already.
All right. So go ahead, Mr. Nubo, if that is okay with you.
You want me to speak now?
Yeah, I thought you got the summary, and you and Mr. Nubo can continue with the conversation.
Yeah, no. He asked me what did I think. I think his question was, what did I think of this behavior or action of the ambassador? Am I right? Was that the question?
You're muted, Mr. Nubo. You're muted.
Yes, you are right. Please go ahead.
All right. Thank you. Well, you know, for where I come from, one has to think and be cautious depending on their position, who they are, what they represent. Even in our lives, I know there were times that something annoyed us and we wanted to react, but we thought about the implication and inferences that would go to our children or even to our parents. So my view is if you're an ambassador of a country, you're supposed to bring the promote in that country. If there's anything negative about that country that you know, you have the right to go to the source or go to whoever you are amenable to have a discussion about these issues of concern because you are the representative of the country. And I think it's not your duty to undermine or to disparage anything that would be looking bad about the country. I don't think that is decent, that is honorable, that is kosher. So my view is, as an ambassador at large, it was better for him to have dealt with this issue with the concerned parties. If the concerned parties for him was the legislature, he could have gone to them and had a discussion with them and share his view. I'm not against freedom of speech. I'm not against people who will express their views as to how they feel about issues. But it's just like you are not cut off your nose to spite. Let me give an old-fashioned statement. You're not cut off your nose to spite your face. That's a statement that suggests you don't want to take an action that can reverberate negatively to you. And to me, in my view, he left a sort of disparaging impression of our legislature. The question is whether you and I believe it's true or not is not where I'm coming from. I'm just saying that I would have been more cautious as an ambassador. That's my personal view. I'm not trying to condemn him or be I am critical in a way, but not trying to condemn him. But I would have been more cautious in how I make such a statement as an ambassador.
Thank you. Thank you. My next question. He said the concession agreements have, quote unquote, terrorized Africa, and that, quote unquote, every concession agreement has benefited Europe while harming Africa. I would like for you to comment on that. Every agreement terrorized Africa, and every agreement benefited Europe, did not benefit Africa.
That would be a matter of opinion. And while he might have justification, yeah, forgive me, I'm in a hospital setting, so
okay.
Come up.
Yes.
While he might have justifications or rationale for that, I think my question is, where did he make the statement? And in his capacity as an ambassador, if it was at a forum in Liberia or something of that sort where the issues are being discussed domestically, I think it would have been better. Or he could have gone, if he had such a strong feeling, he should have gone to the entity in particular, the branch of government in particular, and at least express his concern. But the public manner leaves me a little bit concerned. That's my point. The manner in which he expressed his concern. Now the question is whether it's true or it's not true. It's a question that I think we can discuss in private but you don't hold any government position. We can speak as independent individuals who sharing our views about our nation. But in an ambassadorial position, I would wonder. Let me put it that way.
Thank you. Those were my 2 questions.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. George H. Nubo. Now let's go on to Mr. Christopher Nippet. Mr. Nippet?
Well, since thank you so much, Mr. Horton. That's what we wanted you on this show, because we are on not only the opinion, but the conviction that as an agent of government, especially with that nomenclature, ambassador at large, just as you said, you have to be careful because you are not representing yourself in a private capacity. Rather than that, you are representing the government of the Republic of Liberia, and you have your principle. And we were talking about your principle being the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, where you serve, and then as the appointee by the president, you will leverage your concerns with the ministry, seek the advice of the ministry, meet with the presidential affairs at the council, and then clear that up with the president who appointed you. In the context of that, don't you think the ambassador was in error when he said, Samora Machel, I will not disappoint you. Fidel Castro, I will not disappoint you. Kwame Nkrumah, I will not disappoint you. As aware that he was agent of these people at an international, and I put that into quote and unquote international forum. Didn't you think that he undermined his position first and the Republic of Liberia by going that way, sir?
Well, as I have said earlier, I would think so. I would certainly think so, because of his position and what he represented. One has to be careful. It's as I gave the example. You say something as a representative of a nation, and you leave those who are listening to you to feel that you are undermining and you are disgracing your country in whatever specific respect we're talking about. So I would agree with you that I think as an ambassador, I can't think of any ambassador. I used to watch some ambassadors before. You see them smiling to a guest that they have already know this guest is not a favorable guest to the country or person to the country, but they would smile, they would shake their hands, and they would later on deal with the issue separately, but not publicly. That's my reservation. He probably knows what he stood on, why he would say what he said, when he said what he said. But from my perspective, what he represented and the position he's held, he should have been more cautious. That's why I use that parable. You can't cut off your nose to spite your face. In other words, he said something that was annoying to him, but look at the consequences. The consequences that he leaves his legislative branch of government and other functioning areas of government to be embarrassed, to be exposed. We need to tell the truth. It's always good to tell the truth how you feel, but that depends on where you are, who you're speaking to, because the truth has this way of reacting by people who listen to the truth. So you got to be careful. You got to be cautious. You got to be measured. That's my thinking.
Okay, Mr. Nippy, question number 2.
I was a young man coming up. And very interestingly, I've always loved the diplomatic area. And I remember one or two persons who were there. Emmett Hammer was one of President Tubman's ambassador at large. And then Mr. Deshee, having served as chief of protocol at one point in time, became ambassador at large. And the conduct of their activities were so not only humane, but at the apex of quality. So when you have these people, now, it is the president's prerogative to appoint whomever he wants to appoint. But don't you think that when you get into those areas, you should be able to at least ask some questions before you go onto the international scene and start talking your own way as a way that you are a free agent? Or two, don't you think Mr. Kuyate, not only the legislators did he make on the mind, but he also brought a distaste to the Republic of Liberia. The image he portrayed at the forum was not a good one. Will you agree with me? In the context of spotting your face.
I would certainly agree with you, and you know, sometimes, and it brings to mind also an issue that maybe is not appropriate at this time. But before appointees are made, there should be some kind of interaction between the appointee and the appointor and the appointee. And that interaction should warrant a kind of understanding as to what is expected of you, and at the same time, wanting to see whether the appointee will buy into your policies, your ideas, and whether they are kosher to them. So sometimes we have these problems when appointments are made without, especially at certain levels, without that interaction. And so this could be some of the, based on what you were saying, I draw from you that it is important when you make when somebody is appointed to the position, they know what is expected of them and how they should guide themselves in terms of what they say, where they say, and when they say whatever they say.
Okay.
Mr. Horton. Thank you very much, Mr. Horton. I think you've answered wonderfully my questions. No, I'm just taking him.
Okay.
You don't have to be courteous to the guest now. He has answered two questions satisfactorily. Let me commend him.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Okay.
We're gonna circle back. We're gonna circle back, gentlemen.
Okay.
We're gonna circle back. We're gonna circle back.
No. I believe I capture I took your title from you today. So you need to come with your two questions or comments.
Okay, no problem. Mr. Horton, you see that? I've been hijacked right before the public. It's no problem.
Yes.
I mean, ask for two questions.
Ambush.
Okay, yes.
Whatever you might call it.
All right. So, look, this is why it is very, very important to have the likes of Mr. Horton in the mix of such discussions. You see what Mr. Horton had just revealed to the public here today. I don't know Mr. Kuyate from Adams. Never met him. Don't even know his politics. None of that. But what you have just said, Mr. Horton, it is exactly what I've been arguing since the issue took place. And so then let me ask you. I know you've been giving two leading questions, but you know you answer it as pro as you are. But Mr. Nuba, calm down.
You are consuming your 2 minutes. 45 seconds have gone.
Okay. Mr.
Okay.
Horton,
Yeah.
would it be your understanding that Mr. Kuyate did not get a proper onboarding? You are pretty much aware what an onboarding process is, and every one of us probably know what an onboarding process is. When you hire somebody, as you rightfully said, you have to bring them on board, let them know what your company or what your entity stands for. What are the rules, the do's and don'ts? It is my belief, and probably you can speak to this, Mr. Horton, that Mr. Kuyate didn't get a proper onboarding process to let him know what should or should not have been done. Now,
Please ask a question. Don't come with your opinion. You are not a guest. Ask your question. Thank you. So
Okay.
please repeat your question.
Mr. Horton, is it your opinion that Mr. Kuyate was not properly onboarded?
I would hesitate to make such a categorical opinion, but I could say it could work other ways.
No, do not interrupt the guest.
No. I said I would hesitate to make a categorical statement as to the way you posed your question. But I would say it is possible that he was given proper instructions, that he went through all of the training and orientation that was necessary as a diplomat, and since he would be serving as a diplomat, and also the discussion of his principle. A discussion. It's very likely that he took upon himself in his own mind and his own thinking, decided to speak as he spoke. And he could have been well informed, because I don't think ambassadors or appointees in the diplomatic service are just sent out arbitrarily like that without proper orientation and training. So actually, I would hesitate to just say he didn't get the proper training. He could have gotten the proper training, but he could have just aborted it in his own mind.
If I may, let me buttress Mr. Horton's point. Just a moment, Mr. Nubo. Mr. Nubo, just a moment. Mr. Nubo, just a moment.
Okay.
We have been on the we've been on this set, and just as Mr. Horton has said it, that all diplomats, anyone is given the opportunity to be trained at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. For instance, I am a United Nations trained diplomat. So, under the ambit of the United Nations, and then at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, they are do's and they are don'ts. Our language is a polished language. Like Mr. Horton said, there are times that you are very embittered with someone from the second country or at the forum, but you smile, you welcome them heartily. Behind closed door, which in the setting we call incognito, you can then see, Mr. Horton, and certain things that we think we can do and all the kind of thing. And Mr. Horton will appreciate it, because the kind of way you greeted him, the way you put on the subject. You see, the role of information in diplomatic field is different from how on the other side you would talk. I just wanted to just slip that through.
Thank you very much. Okay, Mr. Wright, you have 1 minute to come out with your second question.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Mr. Horton, let me ask you about a very direct question. How will you describe the way in which we have managed our mineral resources since we came out of during the post-war era? And what can we do to manage it well?
Well,
you have to take the first part of the question. I'm sorry.
Go ahead. You finished?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
How have we managed our mineral resources since post-war? That's your question.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Well, it's always important to know where you are coming from. In other words, are we on the perception that the previous, before, pre-war, pre-war, whether there were any policies that were substantial towards mineral and industrialization, mineral development? And then since the war, whether we are not. I mean, I don't know whether that's your premise or not, but anyway, I think for a country, who has such wide and large variety of mineral resources, for us to still be considered a third world developing country where our resources, our natural resources are exported and then refined and sent back to us in finished products. I think this is a reflection of a country that's 100, you'll correct me, 100, or is it 87, 89, 189 years old, 79 years old. It's just sad. Something is wrong. I mean, are there any of our mineral resources? I mean, look how long Firestone has been there. That's not mineral, but that's a product. Look how long we've been having iron ore and producing iron ore. I think there's a factory that's producing steel rod, but most people seem to be preferable to import steel rod, to buy the imported steel rod than the local steel rod. So it tells us that we have not developed our industrial activities sufficiently enough so that we can go on the international market and take care of our local needs. I don't think we can say that in all honesty as of now. But I think, not to be political, but I think every efforts have been made by different administrations to do something about it, but yet we find ourselves still in a position of exporting our mineral resources. So actually, I would say we are still dependent. A nation that cannot produce and manufacture its own products, its own natural resources, becomes a dependent nation. All the nations in the world that have become great today, they have learned to develop their natural resources in the area of industry and manufacturing, so that you could also be on the international market. But we are still a subsistence nation. I'm not condemning anybody because I think we're talking about 100 and something years. So no one president we can cast blame on, but rather look at the nation in its totality and say, where are we today? Have we made any significant accomplishment in the area of our natural resources? The iron ore is still being exported. I mean, I think steel rod is the only thing I can think of. I'm not even sure about that, but I think I was made to understand steel rod is locally produced. We don't even make little rubber gloves. We don't make erasers for pencil. We don't make anything for the rubber. And even tires for our vehicles. What we do, retread tires instead of manufacturing tires. It's ironical. I mean, I'm not casting any indictment on any administration. I think President Boyka is looking into this as much as he can, but this has been a continual thing from time on past. But I must say there were certain policies that were introduced to help in the Totmos open door policy brought in LAMCO and like a Liberia Iron Ore Corporation in bombings and so forth and so on. It helped the country economically, financially, but I don't know if it helped the country in terms of its sustainability independently as a country.
Thank you.
I
Thank
don't know
you.
if I went left, right, and center to answer your question, but
Yes,
that's
yes,
what
yes. I think you did. You did. I would like to have a follow on, but I don't
Yeah.
want to. I don't.
I mean, the dictator is here, no, so
Okay, go ahead.
no follow on. Honorable Houghton, you have heard about the situation at the Guinea border, and if you were to pick up the phone to talk with Joe Boakai, to talk with your colleagues when you were in government, to talk with the lawmakers, what would be your advice?
Well, I don't think in our region we want to go into anything that's violent. I don't think we should want that. And so the alternative to that would suggest that there's dialogue, there's meeting of the minds, there would be conferences. And I trust that this is going on. The only thing that worries me is that one party seems to have already taken an action and without the matter being harmonized and resolved or compromised. So I hope from our Liberian side, every effort is still being made to go through the diplomatic approach. And that's what I would say. These are very sensitive issues, but we must never try to move towards war or what you call it, confrontational military action. I would caution that. Seriously, I would caution that. Okay. So I hope our leaders, and I expect our leaders, I think knowing Boyka, the little that I know of him, President Boyka, the little I know of him, he's a deep thinking person. He's not a person that's quick to act. So I expect that he's giving much thought and attention to this matter, and I hope so.
Thank you. My question number 2. All over Africa, we who call ourselves Pan-Africanists, we praise Ibrahim Traore of Burkina Faso. Even one government minister of Liberia asked me, why you keep on pressing the guy? You want Kurita? And I said, no, we want what kind of copy, what is going on. But that is not my question. My question is that the people of Burkina Faso are enjoying, but the dissidents who are loyalists to Blaise Compaoré travel to southeastern Liberia. The whole region is associated with Blaise Compaoré apologists. The president said a few days ago, 140,000 in Grand Guinea and River G alone. And they in bombing, the black police officer way to go and do investigation where they are doing mining. Do you see any problem with the Burkinabes coming to Liberia? And what can be done to solve the problem? I know Mr. Ryan is frowning up, but I said Mr. Ryan is frowning up, but we gotta do what we gotta do.
Exactly. Do what you gotta do. I'm trying to find a way to put this.
Chris laughing. How will you come back?
We the Pan-Africanists, really.
I became Pan-Africanist. When I became Pan-Africanist, maybe that time you were not even born.
Mr. Horton is right back.
That time you were not born.
You'd like to throw open. I press one button. You know, some of us got to be looking for our grandchildren to come help us with this thing. But at least I can bluff. I did it myself. My wife, who, as you know, she's not well. She usually the one who
your grandchildren will be proud of you.
Yeah, but yeah, that's true. But make people shame too. There's sometimes when children can act bad. They expect you to be up there with them. But anyhow, on the Burkina Faso issue, I think your question is, how do I feel about the number of Burkina Faso Burkinos that are in Liberia at the eastern region? Is that your question?
Yes, the number of them in the southeast, and the number of them, the people that resorted to violence in bombing, blocking the way of police officers going there to investigate their mining activity.
Are you asked the question? Are you leading the guest?
No. He want me to explain what I was saying before he got disconnected. Archie, the floor is not yours. And if you interrupt again, we'll block you. Thank you. Mr. Guest, please.
Yes.
Mr. Horton, please go ahead.
While the concept of the ECOWAS and AU is to allow the free flow of citizens from one country to another country, I do think there has to be a kind of control factor when it comes to the numerical numbers and the role they're playing of a foreign citizens that are in your country. I do think there has to be some controlling factor.
Right.
But let me just say this: for anything to have grown to the level of 140,000 means that somebody was sleeping. Somebody who was supposed to be awake, following and ensuring the immigration aspect of foreign citizens to our country. I think somebody, for this number, it just couldn't have happened overnight.
Right.
So we have to look at our agency of government as responsible for ensuring who comes into the country and who leaves the country. I think it is very important and urgently important that government looks into this matter. I hope it will be done peacefully and harmoniously, because we don't want to see any conflict. I heard there's some issue with respect to Ghana and other African countries with South Africa, if I'm right. There's some issue there about South Africa exporting or sending the foreign citizens out of the country in a very negative manner. That's what I understand. And that's causing some disgruntledness or dissatisfiedness with some of the nations. Ghana, for instance, has taken a strong position in trying to take care of their citizens. But I think, to answer your question, it's something government needs to look into this and don't let it go any further, because 140,000, you know what that number means?
Yep. In 2 counties.
What is it? It's 140. Is it?
140,000 in Grand Jetta and River counties alone.
I don't want to even go to the question, the point that I want to make about how large is our security force.
Okay. Yes. Okay,
When
thank
they
you.
say not to my
Yeah,
not
thank,
to my mouth, they go say they say
thank
Titi
you.
get belly.
Yeah,
So
thank
it will not be me who said it.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Let's move on to Mr. Nippy for 2 questions.
Uh, Mr. Hartling, thank you very much. Mr. Nubo, thank you very much. And I'm glad that we have somebody who knows the issue, who understands the issue, who has a handle on international affairs. And so when we ask these questions, he takes his own time and he put the pieces together. He tries to build an understanding as a way you're fixing a mosaic. Mr. Horton, my understanding of what Pan-Africanism is a person, be a man or woman, whose interest is centered on bringing his fellow Africans together to ensure that all African work intended for the common good of the continent. I just want to just make it as brief as that. That is my understanding. A young man who was president of our country in 1957 decided to convene a tripartite conference in San Nicolas, Nimba County. At that conference were 2 distinguished sons of Africa, Ahmed Sékou Touré of the French Guinea at the time, and Osagyefo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah of the Gold Coast. The gentleman in question was His Excellency William Bakanera Tubman. There are people all around who don't want to give him credit. I stand to be corrected, but in the definition that I just provided, I think he was a Pan-Africanist, as the one who thought about bringing African countries together. And I recall, by 1962 or thereabout, Queen Elizabeth visited Liberia. That was followed by the French president. Then the mansion was on Ashmont Street. Immediately after those visits of those distinguished personalities, we saw a domino effect, which coincided with the visit of Tafawa Balewa, the first Prime Minister and President of Nigeria, the Imam of Sokoto, and the lightning, they used to call him the lightning. But there were 3 that came from Nigeria. Giving that description that I've just stated, don't you think, or won't you ascribe to President Tubman that indeed, given what he did, which was the precursor to the formation of the Organization of African Unity, that President Tubman can be rightly called a Pan-Africanist, or should be referred to, now that he deceased, a Pan-Africanist, because he came up with that idea to bring all Africa together. And I recall a statement, I cannot quote that statement verbatim, but it goes something like this, that he said, the independence of Liberia will be meaningless unless all Africa is free, or all African countries are free. I want to stop right there, and then you can handle the question and the way I've just asked. So.
Thank you. I think you make some very profound points here. I also am one of those who believe Tubman is sometimes not given credit for his accomplishments. And I think part of that is a consequence of how long he stayed there. And, you know, when you overstay yourself, sometimes all it could you do sometimes become seen as negative. But if we look at the Tubman era from 1944 up to 1971, and we just try to delve into some of the policies and some of the things that you just referred to, both in the regional sense and international sense and domestic sense, you realize that 1944 brought a new beginning in terms of Liberia's growth and development, even though there is a book that is written that condemns it and says development without growth, or whatever they call it. But clearly, that issue you made reference to indicates a very brave, courageous, and constructive move by Tubman, realizing that his two colleagues just recently got their independence, Guinea and Ghana, realizing the perception of certain areas of the world, I will put it that way, towards the negative thinking about Africans, our inability to develop ourselves and to sustain ourselves. That it came to his mind that it was worthwhile to at least bring together two of his colleagues, newly becoming independent countries, and talk about regional cooperation. That is commendable. That is very commendable. And also Liberia was at a point of high recognition. As you say, the Queen visited Liberia and she held the umbrella. You left that one out. She held the umbrella over Tubman. You know, and all these other potentates that came to Liberia during that period of time. And so we really forget to give him the credit that's due. He stayed very long, and in a lot of ways, I believe that Tubman could have done more in the 47 years. But yeah, how I counter that position. I counter it by saying he entered at a time when our budget was less than $1 million. And before he left, it was up to about $300 and something million. That is indication. Of course, 27 years look long. He could have done more. I don't leave that part out. But I do say there were no schools and high schools in most of the counties. Tubman administration brought it. Medical centers, hospitals in every county, I stand to be corrected, were established. Administrative building to coordinate administrative activities so that it was not centralized in Monrovia were established. Roads, even though we still clean road, the joke is that he paved the road right up to his farm. But notwithstanding, paved roads for the first time came into Liberia. Electricity for the first time came on a tangible basis during that period. Telephones, all of that. Up to the time Tubman died, even to include turbo time, there's hardly any international airlines you can think of that did not stop in Liberia. But somehow we tend to forget him, and we believe that the Tubman administration also came with some very effective and positive and liberal ideas. We give him credit for that. But he had something to work from. He had something to work on. And open door policy had its negative aspect, but of course, it opened the door for economic development, particularly in the financial sense. Lamco, the iron ore company in Bombay Hills. Firestone was there before Tubman, but Firestone also. And just think of all the entities that came from the private sector side, private sector time. Let's think about some of them. Like Liberia, for instance, the explosive, there was an explosive company that made what do you call it, or anything explosive thing. There was matches factory. And all of these things were in existence in Liberia during Tubman time. And so I agree with you that his policies and his interest in Liberia can be certainly ascribed to his Pan-Africanism outlook. So I will agree with you that it needs to be really looked upon in a much more different way. I agree that he overstayed, maybe, but that's what politics. The idea of politics is how long you can sustain yourself. So if we put him there and the country allow him to stay there that long, who do we blame? We blame ourselves. That's how I will answer your question. I'm sure I went left, right, and center, but anyway.
Oh no. Just like me with the umbrella, you mentioned the chemical company we should call Eskem.
Yes, Eskem.
Eskem.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. We need to move on to. Before we move on to Mr. Wright, let Chris come in of what kind of advice the youth need from Elder Horton. Chris, it's yours. Chris, what kind of advice you need?
Your children don't need anybody to advise them these days.
Unmute yourself, Chris. You are still muted. Archie, did you mute him?
No,
Okay.
I think there you go.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. So
Okay. Do you put any advice or you're on your own? You're on your own.
No, we need. Our people have a saying that we need a verse. Our people have a saying we apply the new mat on the old mat. So I'm so glad to now we have our father here, and let me appreciate him. He speak as an elderly person. He speak by his position. All of the questions, the action them not in my interest or in anybody's interest, but to tell us that hey, we have to sit on the old mat to apply the new mat. My question is this. Yeah, our father, you are a man that understands how life go. Just like how Mr. Numbo Pole, you've been traveling all over the world. I don't know, but the fact that I do understand you have a lot of experience. What will be the message to the young people, especially in Liberia? What will be the message to we, the young people in Liberia, when it comes to making Liberia to be one of the best countries in Africa, despite those mistakes that our people made? But what will be the message to us? Thank you.
Young people, many of them are usually very anxious. They're very anxious for things to happen. And I will relate you to what I think happened in the past. I think the coup d'etat, the war in particular, were instances that time and people did not take time to study the pros and cons, the implicative aspect, the ramifications of actions. And if you check, most of those people were young people. They were anxious to see change. They didn't take time to study. For every action, we learn that there's a reaction. Analyze the situation. I think there's a saying, before you go into a battle, before you go to fight your opponent, you want to make sure that you know much about the weaknesses and strength of that opponent. That's my advice to the young people today. They seem to know everything, and with technology coming in, making things so fast, until they believe that I like where some people say they will never believe that you've been there, that you have done that, and you have seen it. They always believe that you are just. My grandson would tell me to my face, "Son, oh, Papa, leave that thing. That's your old time. That's your old." he would, and I've tried to give him advice as to what has happened in my life, that experience he can learn from. So, my son, all I would say is, be anxious, but don't let your anxiety lead you to take an action without forethought, without being conscious of where you're going, how you will get there, what will be required to be able to get there. That's what I see about the young age people these days. And that parable about my thing repeating.
Thank
happened?
you. Thank you. Well, we need to move on to Mr. Wright. Your 2 questions within 2 minutes.
I'll do my best.
Okay.
Mr. Horton, I want to speak to the banker and you. And I want to pivot back to the previous question I was asked to you about the Burkinabes. I'm not going to go down the Pan-Africanist route, but I am going to sound like a capitalist here tonight. Would you agree, in spite of the inherent security implication that is there, or will you agree that there is a potential that the 140,000 Burkinabes, even though we don't know the demographics, but there is a potential that this number can have some positive economic impact within the region? I want to start with my first question.
You know, there are 2 words that come to my mind. One is nationalism, and one is patriotism.
Bingo.
How do we fit in those words, those words, and the definition of these words, the implication of those words, in the context of what you just asked? Will we expect, as much as you mentioned the capitalistic aspect of it, capital aspect of it, but will we expect a group of people at that number? And you know, when we talk about tribalism and ethnicity and sectionalism, these are common things. Whether we like it or not, whether we support it or not, it happens. You will find people will gravitate towards each other because they have a common background or ethnicity or blood relationship. So I would want to weigh the issue of what could be the benefit as against the negative aspect. And I would think that for such a number to come in a country, you know, they say charity begins at home. We want to be nice. We want to be kind. We want to allow people to be able to freely come in and leave our country and to be able to participate in the economic activities. Yes, we want that. But to what extent will it minimize or negate our own people? You mentioned the security side, put that aside, but those are the questions we need to weigh. We need to weigh the issue of where will it weight be greater, on the negative side or on the positive side? And once a person knows that they can go back to their home, I mean, look at what has happened to our country. I don't want to get into this kind of conversation, but most of our commerce and industrial activities are done by foreigners. So what percentage of their earnings stay in the nation? What percentage? We need to start looking at the private sector. We need to start encouraging private sector. And one of the reasons, nobody will repeat me, even though this went public, but don't repeat me. One of the reasons that we are afraid that public sector will become too prominent and too strong, and politicians are usually afraid of it. That's an opinion I have. I hope I'm wrong. And so to answer your question, Archie, I would say we got to be a little bit cautious. While the capital side is important, they are being productive, they are adding to our capital. But to what extent are we in control? That's a question we need to ask. Are they paying revenues? Are they paying taxes? How did it get into the country? What benefits from their being in the country are accruing to us, to Liberia? That's some of my concerns.
Okay, my second question. That's fundamental. You asked all of the questions are fundamental, and I hope the requisite, people are listening and they can take note of that. But again, I want to come back to the banker, the banker in you. A proposal landed on your desk, and it's saying, I have the 50,000 United States dollars. I want to invest in 200 acres of cocoa farming, a plantation. And we, and I know, everyone knows that the number one cost. Let's do this. Yes. The number one cost associated with the investment is labor. It's labor. But within my proposal, I'm telling you that we have this under control. The labor cost is at the minimum because we have ready manpower in the region that can be utilized to move this project forward. As a banker, the proposal landed on your desk. You see this. Would you see this as a viable investment, or would you look at it from the perspective? I want to coach you here now, from the perspective of a patriotic and a nationalistic citizen.
I caution you to take note. I only use that in terms of foreigners. If this question is based on local people seeking, then I can't talk about nationalism. And I only raised that point when you were talking about foreigners. But if your question is regardless of whether it's foreigner, but just a bank proposal, that's that for loan, all right. Don't leave that nationalism and because I use it in a different context.
Yeah, accept it.
All right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, I think that's a backup. You are asking for $50,000, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And you want to go to cocoa?
Yes.
And you are saying you have the labor?
Yes.
Because you believe labor is the most costly aspect of that project?
Yes, the driving cost. Yeah.
I think there are other factors you need to take into consideration. First, the technical know-how, and that can be costly too. Who will do a feasibility study to show that your cocoa farm is viable and profitable? That's a cost. I think you would need certain
but that is
equipment.
Mr. Horton.
Do not interrupt the speaker. Okay, Mr. Horton, please go ahead.
but But you asked me as a banker, and I answer you. Then you say you want to tell me where I'm going to go.
Okay.
You asked me. You emphasize. You came to me and you say I want to borrow $50,000, but I want to assure you if you worry about labor, I have labor. And then I start raising certain issues with you. I said, one, what is the feasibility study? Where are you going to do this? Now you put the banker thing into me now. You carry me somewhere. Where are you going to put it? Is the soil good?
Okay.
Do you have the technical know-how? Who will be working with you? How much you have to pay them? You have to buy the signs. Where are you getting the signs from? So I don't know what you're expecting from the answer, but those would be my concern.
Thank you very much, Mr. Horton.
Okay.
And the next question.
Hold on.
No. You're 2 minutes over.
Please. Information.
What information again? Okay, if you can get the information, if the information is important, get the information at the end of the show. Okay,
It's important. It's important.
No, Mr. Horton.
Mr. Nubo, it's important.
We have 140,000. Okay, go ahead.
Mr. Horton, I want to let you know that the former president is watching you. But former President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf is watching the show. That's what I want to tell you.
Okay. All right. Yes. Now, Mr. Horton, thank you very much.
Yeah.
The Burkinabes, Joe Boaka said 140.
This is great.
And in
wow.
Grandjede and in River G, let's assume that 100,000 of those people are adults. These people are coming to do farming work. According to the ECOWAS protocol, if you are from ECOWAS country, to get work permit, that's $200. Does Liberia have $20 million from the Burkinabes? Because people are saying that these people are economic migrants. So what are we getting from? Do you know any money we're getting from there? Do we have let's say 140, we reduced it to 100,000 adults. 100,000 adults, and each of them pay $200 to get work permit in Liberia. That's $20,000. Do we even have $20 million? Do we even have $1 million from the Burkinabes? That's my question.
Forgive my ignorance, but I would like to know first of all if Burkina Faso is still a member of ECOWAS.
It's no longer a member of ECOWAS.
So your premise, you have to rephrase your premise for the question.
They're supposed to be asked to pay what somebody from Bangladesh will pay, because they are no longer members of ECOWAS. Yeah, thank you. You answer my question. And let's move on to Mr. Nippy. Is Mr. Nippy sleeping?
No.
Okay.
I'm trying to clear my throat.
Okay.
No, I know I'm protected. I'm protected always. But God, thank you so much for the width of knowledge, the experience to bring on the show. And I just want to crave your indulgence that whenever we approach you, that you be kind to come back on the show, because this matters much, and it is nothing less but more about the Republic of Liberia. It is nothing less but more about the children of tomorrow. It is nothing less but more about where Liberia heads. It is nothing much but more about the legacies that each of us will leave on the sand of time. However, I am troubled when it comes to national security concerns. Trouble in the sense that when you have undocumented individuals that flow into the country as it were Victoria Fall with no control, and then they are deep in your forest. I go back into my mind and I realize that we have had a rainfall that inundated the entire country and have a lot of us spread like the Israelites and sinking the lost on in the strange land. We have 180,000 Burkina Faso or Burkina Bees present in our country. How they entered? It is believed that they are here for alluvial mining. Who brought them? When did they start to come? Did they cross through our border? Why is such a number present in the country? We've come to realize that they are in Rangida and River G. And on the western front, that is Cape Mark County, a few days ago, we got to know that they have most room into Cape Mark County. And this has raised a serious national security concern on my part. And I want to ask you this question. Given what you know about migration, the IMO, there is no war being fought in Burkina Faso. Do you think Liberia should accept such a huge number of undocumented people in the country? That would be one question, sir.
I think it's a very sensitive and delicate question because we're talking about regional relations, how one country interacts to another country. I already mentioned about what happened in South Africa, how Ghana is reacting to the manner in which the citizens were treated. So we've got to be cautious with this. I think it would take a lot of maturity, a lot of diplomatic interactions. I hope the government now is working with the leaders of Burkina Faso to see how this matter can be resolved, because I still cannot see the total benefits that will accrue to our country, especially so it seems to me that they came here on a what you might call it, immigrational status. That's my impression. I don't know if I'm right or wrong about that. But why are they there? How did they get into the country? What are they doing? These are issues that we need to know rather than just reacting to it arbitrarily. So that would be my thought. I mean, any Liberian should be concerned about a number of foreign citizens on their soil. That's why I asked the question, how did they get there? What are they here for? And the government needs to look into it. Something is wrong. Something is wrong somewhere.
Thank you. Before we move on to, I want to know, how long you can be with us tonight.
It's my time.
No. Let me find out.
Okay.
You notice you notice that I had to break a while because my wife, who had just had some movement there, I had to break a while. You already see my picture because I went to help her. So I
Yeah.
see she having some difficulties now and
Okay.
might need some help because the nurse came in and went back out. So let's see.
So
You know,
how
maybe
many minutes she
another
can be with us?
maybe
He's
another
rolling on. You keep
10
gonna keep
10
rolling.
minutes. Another 10 minutes.
Okay. 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 That's what I want to know. No. So, Mr. Wright.
Thank you. Thank you.
One question.
Okay. All right. That's great. Look. So, Mr. Horton, let's see. Take us back. Walk us through, if you can. Today, we've been told that through the president doing his State of the Nation address, that we have discovered sufficient, if I can use that word, sufficient minerals with the help of China, the Republic of China. And then recently, when we did a research, we realized that on the LAMCO, Mr. Horton, on the LAMCO, Liberia had a 50% share in its mineral agreement that they had with LAMCO, and the country benefited from it. But then we also saw under the new agreement that we have, B Mountain, Mittal Steel, AMP Terminal, and all the other new concessions, that we got 0% in it, share in it. All we rely on is the royalties that we get from the deal. Take us back, Mr. Horton. Talk to us. A lot of people, listening on the radio and watching us. How did we get it right with LAMCO? And we got 50% there. But going forward, we cannot repeat that same approach under the new concession that we are signing. How did we miss the mark? And what can we do going forward? What must we do going forward?
I would be cautious as to how we are critical about governments and decisions they make and agreements that they come to and concessions. I would be a little bit cautious because you never know the conditions and circumstances that prevail at the time of the negotiations. I mean, while I would be thinking like you, that our country should be in a position, especially with the level of qualified, competent people that we have now, studied and professionals qualified in various areas, discussions can be held that will ensure that Liberia benefits most significantly and substantially from these agreements, these concessions. And if this is not the case, as I said, I would hesitate trying to be condemning or critical, not knowing the conditions and circumstances. If we look back at Firestone time, what were the conditions? What were the circumstances? That's why you say Ellen Johnson is on the air. I want to give her credit that when she came into administration, she dealt with Firestone on a different basis, based on circumstances that permitted her to be able to say, look, what existed before, we can't continue to hold on to it. So conditions and circumstances vary. We need to know the background and understand. We can't just sit on the outside and be conclusive about what transpired. That would be my first caution. But I would emphasize by saying we should ensure in all concessions agreement that Liberia benefits significantly and substantially. Now, what that means depends on what we're asking for. We can ask for different things. I think in one instance, to ask for roads, we should ask for training. Why can't we ask for the industrial activity and manufacturing activity of whatever the raw material is? Why can't we ask that something is done for it to be localized? These are things that I think we should be asking for. But I would be hesitant in trying to criticize any government, not knowing what the premonitions were for making the concessions. But some of them, I must admit, from what I've heard and what I'm familiar with, that they were really done in a manner that left Liberia still begging the issue.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. I really, really appreciate that.
Okay. Okay. We gotta move on to me. Maybe for me, I'll just make a statement on the Burkinabe issue. We are talking about 140,000 in Grand Guinea and River G alone, and nationally, we are talking about over 180,000. But I want to give you a gist of the populations of the smaller counties based on a 2022 election or census. River says that 90,819. That's the total population of River says. And Bapuru get 95,995. That is more than the population of the Burkinabes in Liberia. Grand Crew get 109,342. That number is less than the number of Burkinabes in the country. They will move to River G, 124,000. That is less than the number of Burkinabes. And we move to Bomi, 133,000. That is less than the number of Burkinabes. We move to Sando, 151,000. We move to my county, Maryland County, 172. We move to Cape Mount, 178. All these counties, their populations, their respective populations are less than the population of Burkinabe we have in the country. So there must be a national security concern. And that's my statement. I will move on to Mr. Nippet. And after that, or after I answer Mr. Nippet's question, I'm not looking for answer to my question. After I answer Mr. Nippet's question, or maybe you can come up with your closing. Mr. Nippet, are you there?
Hey, Mr. Nippet, we're going to ask a question. We're running out of time.
Okay. Mr. Nippet?
Yeah, so.
Okay, actually, you can come in if, while we're waiting for Mr. Nippet. But,
okay.
30 seconds.
I will try my best. I will.
Our guest got to go.
I will try my best. Mr. Houghton, so recently, it was, I believe, a few months ago, when the MPC met from the Central Bank, the Monetary Policy Committee. They kept the interest rate at 16%. Now, I'm going to speak to the bank on you again. Do you think that is okay? Let me rephrase the question. At 16%, where the banking activity is almost under par compared to other regions, and if you are, will you support the first? Okay, great. Will you support such a a standing rate, will you support such a standing rate at 16%?
Well, actually, one has to be careful. These issues are dependent on certain factors.
Well, let's look at it in general.
Look, let me finish.
How it affect the
The
overall
the lender is also having a cost for the funds that he lends. It's just like anybody. You buy something for $100 and you are selling it. There's a cost that you want to make sure you make a small profit on it. So 10% you might add, 15% or something you might add. So I can't sit here and say what were the determining factors for why they arrived at 16%. Generally speaking, 16% sounds high. But if you want to look at the cost implications to the banking institution, you might find out they're probably only making 2% actually of that profit. That's what I'm thinking. That's how we answer you. You cannot just sit outside of the location or the setting in which the calculation or computations are being made or configurations are being made. You can't just sit there not knowing exactly what are the prevailing issues, the prevailing conditions, conditionalities. What is the cost? What costs are the banks trying to make sure they can cover? If it becomes more than necessary, that's where usury comes in place. And that's where the central bank should be concerned about.
Okay, great. And that's you. It's a good segue to my next question. Let's say, for instance, you're sitting at the desk of the economic advisors of the president, and these information flow to you. They landed on your desk. Today, the MPC committee, the MPC met and they held the interest rate at 16%. What immediately runs into your mind? You're looking at this rate, and I'm glad that you have acknowledged that it's high, because it's unusually high. It's unsustainable for any economy.
Be careful. I did not say. I said just arbitrarily looking at it, it would appear high. But you can't say it's high when you go into the depth of what the cost implications are to the institution. Correct. So you can't leave that factor out.
Granted, I take that. Granted. But you're there as an economic advisor. You get this information. It's given to you. And what would be your immediate step? You call your finance minister and you say, this is what the MPC have done. What do we do from here? Where do we go from here? As a banker, somebody from the financial sector, how do you advise the president going forward? Because it doesn't sound leading, but I got to say this, because what that does is that it chokes, it creates a clock, it creates a log. Excuse me, gentlemen. I'm trying to use financial, but it creates, it dry ups the credit flow within the economy. That's as I want to say that. It dries up the credit flow, and that's what I want to say now. I'll lay into the rest.
But Archie, do you want to believe that the central bank and the other members of the monetary, what you call it, committee, will come up with a rate that will drive, as you say, a dry up credit? I think then these people are not worthy to be in the position, because the central bank role particularly is to ensure that the regulations that they put in place, the examination that they do with different commercial banks, are done in a manner in the interest of the public. You will not make a decision that will affect the public. I mean, except you know something better. I mean, I can't sit here and say that the central bank and the other members of the committee have made. If I was the economic advisor and had to sort of advise the president, I would go and look into the reasons and rationale for them coming up with that amount. I would want to find out why did they come up with the amount. And I listed some of the things that would be of concern. What is the cost to the institution that are lending? You can't ignore cost though. And we got to give credit to our officials that are holding these high key positions. We have to at least give them some credit or some kind of consideration that the decisions they make would be in the best interest of the country. If we can prove otherwise, then we will make that publicly known.
I just think it was not in the interest of the public. But thank you. Go ahead.
But what are your reasons?
Thank you very much.
Exactly what you said. It's not sustainable.
Okay, Mr. Harding, please.
Yeah.
We have come to the end of the show. Now, please give your closing remarks, and we look forward to your consistent presence.
Mr. Harding is still
on
here.
on this network. We enjoy you. What you say?
Mr. Harding is still here. He didn't say he want to go.
He told me 10 minutes. He told me 10 minutes. You and I
Now that we enjoying the conversation, you wanna.
But even at that, I'm here, and you have not referenced me.
No, Mr. Nippy, I called on you, 4 or 5 times, and you are nowhere to be found. And that's why we circle back to Archie, and Archie asking all the never ending questions. So Mr. Nippy, ask your 2 questions, and after your 2 questions, let Mr. Hutton come out with a closing statement, and we squeeze out some future date where he will come and lecture us on the show in the future. Thank you. So
Thank you so
Mr. Nippy, 2 questions.
Thank you so much,
Two
Mr.
questions,
Josh
2 minutes.
Mungu.
2 minutes.
I'm not going to ask any question. I want to convey my sympathy to Her Excellency President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf for the loss of Honorable Estrada Bernard, and to Auntie Jeannie for the passing of her husband. Life is like a wheel. It begins at the point and it ends at that same point that it began, and then that wheel closes. We want to ask Her Excellency to convey to Auntie Jeannie our profound condolences. And we have had a pleasant time with Uncle Jeff, as I used to call him when I was at the embassy. And to hear that he is no more brings sorrow to my heart. But nevertheless, that's the way we must all go. Having said that, I want to thank Mr. Horton for taking off his busy schedule to be with us for an hour plus. We hope that whenever we call on you, you'll be kind to always be with us for the time that you will have. And thank you so much. All of the questions that we have thought to ask you, you have so well answered them. It's my pleasure to say thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Honorable Horton, as I said before, we appreciate having you here. And we hope this will not be your last time here. I mean, we call you here. This is your second time here to deliver knowledge to us. and not only us, the panelists, but to Liberians. And you did not fail us. You have done well in the past, and tonight, Liberian people say, the wisdom waits. I mean, the wisdom is planted tonight. So thank you. And we will call on you, in the future, in the near future, for you to appear here to share more wisdom with us. So please come out with your closing statement. Sir, thank you.
Mr. Moderator, I think you've done a very excellent job in trying to make sure that things went in accordance with practice. Will it be by Archie Murphy is anxious? He wants to ask a question. Can I appeal to you to let Archie ask his question? If you got the ball without sleep good tonight, he ask a question.
Okay.
So
I gave him 30 seconds to ask that question. I can see his throat itching. Let him ask that question within 30 seconds.
I hear by the question can be way into the technical things there. You want me to go answer the central plan?
He can be beating around the bush. What is that? Archie, okay, you got 30 seconds.
He wants to indict you.
Yeah, it looks so. It looks so. If that one like it for you. It won't catch me or something. I don't know the people rate too high. I'm on top of it. Can't stop when the people rate high. I know how they derive at the rate. What's your problem?
Next time I will lose my position as moderator. He will take it from me tonight, and never again I will be moderator.
Oh, but you're an excellent moderator.
Yeah. No. I mean, I know my man. I know Achiro. Say I fight.
If our country was run with such control. Anyway, let's do that one. I think you got a question.
Actually, ask you a question. You are muted.
I always do that. I forget. Oh my gosh. Thank you, Mr. Lugo. I want to move to the Minister of Mines and Energy. Recently, he's I don't know if you have seen that, Mr. Halton. But I know you consume the news a lot, so you've probably seen this. He visited one of the, and I think Mr. Nuba referenced that, he visited one of the mining sites. And he's
who was that? Who?
The Mines and Energy Minister. I think his name is Mr. Matinga. Guys, correct me if I'm wrong here. I think Matinga or something.
Timba.
There you go.
He used to be a representative before.
Okay, there you go. So Mr. Halton, he visited the site, and he is heard on the video saying, "We don't know how much minerals you guys take from here. Also, we don't know where you sell the mineral or where you take the mineral." Mr. Halton, based on your experience, how would you, was it the right thing for the minister to have said? And was it in the wrong to have said that? I don't want to give a leading question, but I don't want to ask that, from that position.
First of all, a minister, to me, should have had the answer.
Right.
I can just say that he should have had an answer for those questions.
Thank you, sir.
If my memory is correct, most of the mining and concession companies that were in Liberia, Liberia's government had someone there who I believe was supposed to be the eye and the interests of government.
Yes.
That's my memory. That's my understanding. I'm not sure if I'm wrong. It seems to me that it is rather odd that a concession is given for certain activities to do without mineral products, and nobody is there to ensure that the corporation or the company dealing, the mining company, operates in accordance with the what you call it, the agreements that they have with government.
Right.
Exploratory agreements, mining agreement, or whichever agreement that's supposed to be in place. Somebody has to monitor. The Ministry of Mines and Energy should have such a kind of representative. And the question is, if he's not easily or she's not easily bought, we just pray that the person is not. But don't tell me that there isn't one. I will find it strange.
Yeah. All right, thank you so much. That's the same position I hold. I think what I said was that he had just, exposed his incompetence. I mean, maybe I'm too harsh on him, but like you said, he should have known. Bottom line.
That's not my word. That's not my word.
Yeah, that's my. Yeah, that's my own word. Yes, that's my own word. Yeah, but bottom line, that's a minimum. That's a minimum that we ask of him. He should have known. My next question is, Mr. Horton. Recently, the government or the legislature approved the printing of new banknotes, new infusion of money into the economy. Is it and the reason they give is that, look, I mean, I would say it, but for me, it's bookers. But they said, and we know that, there's a common practice. They said they want to get rid of the mutilated notes. Thank you, Mr. The mutilated notes. But what they did not tell us, and I don't know if this is common practice in Liberia, but I know it is not. You should tell us. But how much of the mutilated notes that you are replacing, that were never provided, and what are the denominations? They were never provided. Is that something from your experience? Is that something that is it a common practice, or is this something out of the norm?
Well, I would say that it is natural. There's a need for imprinting inclusion, or bringing in new currency. All of those questions should have been answered. I mean, why is it necessary? How much mutilated? You do the central bank is supposed to do that both for American US dollar and also for Liberian dollars. In the case of the American dollars, the mutilated ones that the commercial banks pass over to the central bank are sent abroad, and new currencies are made available, new amounts are made available. But to me, I think who's asking the question? You asking the question, the legislature, who I believe has to approve any amount of currency that's being brought in newly by the central bank. I believe that's the case. Still is the case.
Yeah,
and they would have asked all those questions. You can't just arbitrarily just say, I need to bring in 10 million, 20 million, 1 trillion, or whatever currency in new currency without giving justification and reasons for it. And usually it's predicated on mutilated notes having to leave the market in circulation for new notes to come. So I would think those questions should have been answered. Have you checked, before you conclude that they were never, those answers were never given? Have you checked?
Yeah, I mean, we saw the release they put out. The release didn't say anything of such. It never told the percentage of the money that they were replacing. In fact, they never told how much were in circulation and what they were replacing. Okay, and the denomination And all the tour was, okay, we want to replace mutilated notes. And we're here to ask the legislature for, approval. I watched the case that was being made at the legislature. I saw that with Mrs. Samoa and his folks.
No members of the legislature asked for that information?
No, never did. Never did. In fact, they never even debated it. I think it was DeLone. I even said, we need to go back and look at the thing. I said, why are you asking this? Why now? Because this is I think they brought them back for, I just forgot the term they used there. Some kind of a sitting, emergency sitting, just for lack of a better word, emergency sitting. And then they squeeze everything in there. They needed money to carry on project. They needed a supplemental budget. All of that stuff. They just get throw at the guys,
Okay, Mr. Wright, you have used 45 minutes instead of.
Let me end on this. So they squeeze all of these requirements at this legislature without any time for them to sit and debate the issues and really look into it. And then look, you can say everything you want to say about Darius Dillon. Dillon raised the issue correct. Dillon said it was abnormal for them to come to them at that time with this kind of very important information, and they don't have the time to look into the request that has been made. They've been told that we need the money now, and we must get an approval so that we can go and print this money. And Dillon made the case. That just seemed very fishy.
Okay.
And he was doing it,
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Wright. Mr. Horton, I want to ask you one question.
Can Mr. Horton answer my question first?
No.
Answer your question.
He answered your question, and you used maybe 20 times more than the time you were allowed to talk. And Mr. Horton, the same Dillon man who Mr. Wright is heaping praises on, the same Dillon,
rightfully so too,
is coming on with a legislation that says, if I'm sending $5 to my daughter in Liberia, I must pay $1 to government. What is your take on that? You send it same way. You sending how they call it, Western Union. You sending RIA and what have you. You have to pay $1 for every transaction. That is.
Well, I think you got to give context.
That is the law proposal for that to go to the revenue.
Okay.
I don't know what
you got to give context.
What context you talking about, Archie?
Why did he?
Because you are praising the law, and I'm trying to shoot the law in the foot. That's why you're talking about context. What I mean, what is the logic? What is the logic? I'm sending $5 to my daughter to buy her copybook, and I must pay $1 to the Liberian government. Does that make sense? It doesn't make any sense to me.
Are you asking me the question, or?
No. I'm responding. I was asking you about your opinion.
Yeah.
And Archie, who time is over, was over long ago, maybe day before yesterday. It's still coming back. So I was asking you, what is your take on that Dillon proposal? That
first of all, such transactions are either done through banks or some institutions that remit funds. And I think those institutions are paying taxes to government.
Okay.
And I don't know. It sounds like to me, it sounds like a double tax.
Yes.
Because the institution based on the profit or loss at the end of the month, at the end of the year, they will pay their taxes. So this to me means that government is already getting something for those transactions.
Yes.
And the institution that's remaking the money will also have a commission for that transaction.
Right.
So I don't know where this $1 coming from again, unless he wants to discourage money coming from abroad. And I'm told that a lot of that money that comes from abroad helps the nation, helps in terms of the needs of the average Liberian family.
Thank you. Thank you very much. If everybody is like Archie right or that get deep pocket. So no. So
Mr. Hawkins, he didn't give
he coming up with that, and I'm George Nubo. I just go to McDonald's and flip the hamburgers. I'm not like Archie Ryder that who does not have problem, who does not have problem with the additional $1 charge.
Let's look at it. Let's look at it based on context. That is my argument. I think if you have done that and then
why is it? Explain your context now.
Good.
Explain it.
Good. Here's the context, Mr. Horton. He said, now I'm not coming across like a Dillon, a PR tonight, but I'm not. He's not my man. Don't know him anywhere. He said, in the interest of development, we all complain that the government go out there and raise its money and borrow and do all those things. Why can't we think out of the box?
Right.
And he has to identify a revenue source. He is saying over the years we have remitted $800 million. That's a lot of money, right? So all of this money is coming to country. He is not saying that the money that is coming to the people or the recipients in the country, we're going to take the dollar from there. What he's doing is the cost. You are not going to bear the cost. And I understand that. We're going to bear the cost. But why is he asking that? He is saying we're going to take that money and put it into an escrow account. An escrow account where you, Mr. Horton, and myself will be a signatory to. We will all be, a guardian of that account. If we need money, for example, to go build a referral hospital in Grand Cape County or somewhere in my hometown, Zaytown, Grand Juda County, we don't need to go borrow from an IMF. We can borrow for ourselves, like you do with your 401k. You go there and you borrow your own money, and if you have to pay it back, you pay it to yourself. This is the brother's thinking. I think that is a cost that you and myself, Mr. Horton, that we will be willing to incur because it is for our own good. So instead of going to IMF, we can go to our own escrow account and borrow from there. How is that a bad thing to do? How is that a bad thing? Would you prefer to go to IMF and pay, some exorbitant rates on how much you're borrowing? Or come into your own account and borrow for yourself and then repay yourself? I think, the answer to that is like,
Okay. Archie.
I'll give him Mr. Horton the contact.
No. I'm sorry to say, I don't in these discussions. I don't want for us to say something today, and then tomorrow we flip-flop. And that will confuse the guests we bring on board. What? When the law came up with this, you and myself had discussion. We opposed it. When did you change? You Archie, and what account they don't have that, or the government will have that you Archie Wright or George Numo will be signatory to? That is a gimmick. Don't believe that. These people are playing games. So, if Mr. Nippet does not have any question or statement, let the guest come up with his closing statement.
I just say one thing on that.
Okay.
Before you can cut a man's coat, and you are wearing a coat that comes into your heels, you should first of all cut your own coat to that person's whole coat you want to cut. In that way, your action will be justifiable.
Right.
Now, what do I mean by that? We have people making too much money in the country, and they are asking the little remittances that go, and then the Western Union is also paying taxes. And I don't know whether they are talking about the man who remits or the lady who remits to a poor father or poor daughter, for $1 to be taken from that amount of money, because I think it happened before during the CDC administration. Whether or not they are trying to revisit that policy, I don't know. And if it is a new policy, then I think if I'm wearing a coat that comes to my heels, and I want somebody to wear a coat that is short, I must reduce the size of my coat. And I want to stop it right there and say thank you to the guests, because I think we can't be doing these things here. We cannot be doing these things here. They are there, and the people are catching hard time. You can how much more can a person bend so that you can know that they are feeling some pains. The economic pain will be too unbearable. And if I were him, I would just leave it alone, because he has a propensity to making him unpopular with the Liberian people. It does have a propensity of making him unpopular with the Liberian people.
Well, there's a trade-off. There's a trade-off, Mr. Napier.
Thank you. Thank you.
What is the trade-off? What is the trade-off? What is the trade-off?
Would you prefer IMF?
We got sufficient money.
No,
we got sufficient money.
Okay.
You, Mr. Archie Wright, you're making $10. And you asking when I send, just a moment, Mr. Nubo, just a moment with your kind permission. And I'm sending $20 for my granddaughter to go to convent and buy her copybooks. And you telling me of that $20 that you gave my granddaughter $19? Then I got to revisit what you have in your pocket. Because you have $300 in your pocket. Why don't you take out $20 from the $300 that you have and be left with $280, so that $20 can help the things you want to fund. And I told you here the other day, we will be gentle, but we have to be intentional. This is about Liberia. This is about the way Liberia goes forward. This is about what we can talk about, how we can help the government not to come here and lambast the government and start doing some kind of thing that will not be all right. But to come out and say, for every money that is remitted, you take $1. For every money that is remitted, you take $1. You are telling us, in essence, that if you're sending money to Liberia, if it is $100, you give the person $99. It happened before, and I don't think it should happen again.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Napier. We want to wrap it up right here, and we're going to go to the guest. DeLon, if DeLon was smart enough, he would have said that every dollar or every transmission that come from the U.S. or come from the diaspora, the lawmakers will match that with $1 for every transmission, every remittance, and that dollar will cost less than 1 cent to each lawmaker, and not the person that's sending the money. And that money is coming from the lawmaker. They can put it in a special fund and do what they want to do with it. So, Mr. Horton, the floor is yours to close. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Well, first of all, I must commend all of you all for having this platform. I think it's very informative, and I even like the title, the nomenclature. We beg to differ. Of course, you don't differ on everything, but at least you must be prepared to allow somebody to differ. And that's democracy in the sense of everybody has a right to give his or her opinion. So I appreciate all of you all. Thank you for inviting me. And I think, as I said earlier, sometimes when you reach a certain age, people tend to discard you and disregard you, but at least you felt the need to have me to come on. I'm sorry that time has been so long, and sometimes my recollection might not be as good as I would like it to be.
Right.
Sometimes the knowledge is there, and just to draw on it in the sense of presenting it can sometimes be difficult. But I think I enjoyed the discussion, the deliberation today. We shared our views. I hope I was able to bring some clarity and some thoughtfulness to the issues.
Sure.
Well, all I can say is we still have hopes for our country. Many times they leave people like myself at the age of 86 and going up to wonder exactly where we're going. But we can't give up. And I like that portion that says he wouldn't bring us this far to leave us alone. So we must still keep our hope, our high hopes in God. But for me, there are certain things that I think sometimes we tend to ignore. And for me, those are the basic things. I always like to refer to them as the basic needs of our people, of our country. We must put attention and give attention to those things. And I'm reminded all the time, not because Ellen Johnson is listening, but I always make this analogy. Todmont came into office with less than $1 million, as I say, as a budget. When he left, though he could have done more in some instances, depends on one's empirical understanding. But when he left a number of tangible things, all of which would have gone towards the upliftment and sustainability of our nation. Ellen Johnson came into government also at a very difficult time. I like to put it this way. There was nothing during Todmont time, and he brought something. There was nothing during Ellen Johnson time, and she brought something. So we need to bring something. But not only that, Liberia is an old country, so there's much that we already know that we stand for. But still, it looks as if we are groping in the dark. Why are we groping in the dark? Partly because I think we don't have a sense of commitment. We must have a sense of commitment for what we are trying to achieve. And what are we trying to achieve? We want to see that the people of this country are happy. Do they have enough food? Do they have affordable health? Do they have affordable education? Is communication possible, easy, reachable, accessible? Roads, telecommunications. Those are the basic and fundamental things that a nation needs. While we're trying to look elsewhere and the grass is greener somewhere else, we need to look at right where we are. They say, let your bucket down where you are. Stop looking way over there. What do we have? What are the resources we have that we can build on? Why is it that we are still a dependent nation seeking aid? I noticed that if I'm wrong, I don't know if I'm wrong if I looked at that budget very well, but I think I noticed the podcast budget is showing a large percentage of the revenues generating from local sources, not from aid. I noticed that. I hope I'm right, and I hope that is sustainable. But the
You are
question
right.
is, why have we? Huh? Pardon?
You are
Hello?
right.
Oh, thank you. So that's complimentary. But let's see if we can sustain it, because this dependency, you know, it leaves the country. You know, one of the things I always say is Liberia was a model, was supposed to be an example of how the Black man can survive and lift himself up. That was a model, but somewhere we lost track of that. We were an example, the first republic in Africa. We helped all those other nations get their independence. But look at us. Some of them have passed us. And then you wonder whether because they were colonialized, maybe that's why they're stronger than us, because we were never really colonialized. I don't want to buy that, but something is wrong. The question we have to ask, whether the coup brought any benefits to the country. Oh yes, maybe it was necessary because of conditions and circumstances, in this disparity, inequities, yes. But that's why I said to that young boy, to the young fellow on the show, before we act, let's think it through. Let's look at it. Let's look at the pros and the cons, the good and the bad, and see exactly what actions would be necessary, rather than in haste we act and then everything is destroyed. But we need to keep hope. We need to keep praying, and we need to encourage our leaders. We must criticize them when they're doing wrong, but at the same time, we must not do it at the detriment of embarrassing our nations internationally. I thank you all for your ideas that you brought forward to establish this platform. I hope you continue, and I will make myself available as you call on me if it's feasible, if it's possible. I will.
Okay, Archie Wright, bid the guest farewell.
No, I'll put my hand on when I want. You will do it.
Okay. Okay.
You get Archie chance to ask questions.
You cannot ask questions. So okay. We thank you, and we'll be in touch with you about your availability, to reappear here, to educate us. I mean, you are not only.
This is sorry to interrupt you, but this is vice versa. You're educating me too, because there are a lot of things that you all are up to date on that I'm not. So it's a mutual thing.
Okay. Thank you. But I mean, we have learned a whole lot, and our listeners have learned a whole lot from you, and I love the way you answer your questions. The question posed to you, even though from some adverse corners and what have you, but I mean, you soften the whole ground. You soften the whole ground. But I would say, good night, and pretty soon we'll be calling on you again.
Yeah, Mr.
No
Archer,
problem.
Yes. Mr. Archer, I'm gonna call you right now. Right now, I gotta get something real quick.
All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
Thank you, Mr. Horton. Have a pleasant weekend.
Okay. Chris, what going on? What running through your mind? I mean, give your impression, Chris.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Numo. Let me say good evening to my father, Christopher J. Nippy. Yes, indeed. No, I enjoy the show a lot, and I will still repeat the parable I used earlier that what people always use that. This is why I like to listen to the show, and this is why I always glad to be part of the show because this show is informative and it open the minds of we the young people to listen and learn. Because as we grow tomorrow, we will be invited on such a program like this. You know, I must appreciate the our father who just left the show, Mr. Honda, for his excellent, presentation when it comes to answering question. You don't just answer the question, but as you said earlier, he something the questions. He made the whole ground to be like, yes, I have a sir. John have a sir. Everyone of all have a. Everybody made mistakes. So like when it comes to the guy who spoke, he said yes, even though the way he spoke in your own way. So I like the way I enjoy the show, and I wanted to ask another question, but however, I really enjoy every one of the question were coming, and also your contribution. I appreciate that, and I know this is something that have to make our people out there, our brothers and sisters, with the young people. We should not be anxious about things. We should be able to think carefully before we speak. Because per our position, the place we are, we speak because we're in that position. But so now when we're speaking, we should speak. What will be the result to those issues we're speaking about? And like for me now, I'm behind the microphone, but when I speak, I should speak in the interest of the people in Grand Gator County and Liberia. Because if I would say Grand Gator is not good, I'm simply telling everybody who are following me to say, I am not good because I'm living in Grand Gator County. So if I'm saying it, I should know the way and the manner in which I'm going to say it. So it's a lesson for every one of us. I love the show. So thank you so much, Mr. Numbo, for giving me the platform.
Yes,
I enjoy the show. Thank you.
Mr. Nippy, the floor is yours.
Well, I think, Mr. Nubo, thank you for stealing the show from the moderator.
I will too.
That was something like suspension on the job, and the fact that I
you will not see me for a whole week now.
the fact that I
7-month suspension.
The fact that our guest did not go against that, we appreciate that hardly. But I think we have settled a number of questions, and I have always been troubled by the foundation of the Organization of African Unity, and that was the thrust of my question about Tottenham being considered a Pan-Africanist. And I like the way he plays it. He said, in respect of all you said, Mr. Nippy, and considering everything that Tottenham did, even though he stayed for 27 years, and when you stay long, sometimes people they think that you're not doing good, or the good that you did is try to be minimized. But I would say that Tottenham was a Pan-Africanist. And this is the way we want to go, like Mrs. Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, who is bereaved. And in spite of being bereaved, she's taking up her time to listen to us. I think it's a bit consoling. The former president of our country thought it expedient to listen to us. Because as I always say, this show is not about criticizing, destroying people. This show is bent on finding a pathway that we can bring information, constructive information to our government, not to vilify the leadership, past, present, and current, but to look at where there were shortfalls or there are shortfalls and see how we can be instruments, positive instruments for the way forward. And having said that, I want to call Mr. Horton the pilot of the night. And he has signed on the aircraft that he so efficiently piloted, patriotism, nationalism. And then he said we should weigh the negative and positive, landing on the word hope. That in spite of what might have gone wrong for the 178 years, we must still have hope. We must still have hope that Liberia is going to thrive, even though it should have been better than all of the countries that are now more advanced and we are being called a developing nation. Why should we be called a developing nation? By this time, we should have been way there. But we are catching up, and with hope and faith in God, we shall get to the promised land. So thank you so much, Mr. Nubo, for grabbing the hem of the mark, grabbing the mark, and
okay,
and justly pushing everything forward. The great George Nebo, thank you so much.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I mean, I always call myself Jesus Fanacon. And I always say, many of you want to go to heaven, but that is not my aim. My aim is to do the right thing. And I know maybe I have a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks suspension pending or in a pipeline because of my position tonight. But you got to do what is right. And Mr. Wright, you have 15 seconds for your closing statement.
Okay.
Please do not preempt suspension.
I'm going to be.
You got 15 seconds. Okay, you have already used 5 seconds of your 15.
I know. I'm going to be. I'll try my best to stay within the 10 seconds. Okay. I'm going to be the first man to admit that you did an excellent job tonight. Absolutely. I got to give it to you. I have to give it to you. You took everyone by surprise and like you had it already figured out because as soon as we started, like, I take it, yeah. And I'm going to applaud you. I think we did a good job. It was a great show. Thank you, Mr. Nubo. Mr. Horton is thrilled. He kept praising. I mean, he couldn't even let me say a word in the back. You can say, actually, thank you. You know, I'm going to get all my friends on the show. That's what he said. I'm telling you, I'm telling you live. Because that's what he told me. He said, I'm going to get people of my age group to come on the show because they belong there. That's what he said. So we're going to start working on that. And I also got, you're probably going to like this. I also got a commitment of the former president coming on the show. Our own guy, Mr. Joe Cassell, is working on that. She's at Cassell's house right now. I mean, all of the possible. You know? Yes. So she's at Cassell's house. Cassell said he will try to make sure that she come on the show. Hopefully before she goes back. You know. So good news. And but thank you, Mr. Nubo. It was a great show.
When she see George Nubo, no, she will think twice. So even though I interview her several times.
I know.
4 or 5 times.
Yeah. Well, it was a great show.
But now we'll not be revisiting those number of times that you interview her.
No.
And let me.
Mr. Nepe, you have already closed. You have already closed. and then you open it up. It's not 5 o'clock. This time it's not 5 o'clock. You have already.
I just looking also small. That's all.
Okay. You already close.
Mr. Newman Pastor is running low. You gotta let him finish.
So Chris, send us home. Chris, the floor is yours.
Okay. I'd like to say thanks to every one of us and to our guests and also to our listeners, our colleagues, those who share, comment. And we'd like to say thanks to every one of you. The show was a very good show. Let me join, the others to say you hijacked it, but it was great. It was very great, and yeah,
Okay.
so and the fact that you always monitor your time, so I like to say thanks, and let God bless you.
Don't worry about it.
I bet to D4 it's taking break and it's going to be by Monday. So I'd like to say thanks to every one of you. God bless every one of us, and God bless Liberia and the world at large. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And salute to our audience.
Yes.
To everybody.
Thank you.
Great show, guys. Thank you
It
so
was
much.
nice.